Okay, so Roger Penrose emphasizes that dark energy is actually gravitational potential energy that originates from quantum negative entropy as non commutative time frequency, and he calls this fundamental time. And so the what's fascinating about this is that somebody on Quora asked the question about how can you have gravity when the when the universe is two-dimensionally flat. And so as the universe accelerates in the expansion, the dark energy stays constant, and so then space-time um, expands, and then matter eventually goes into black holes as a black hole singularity. And so the matter is converted to photons. And so the dark energy becomes dominant in the universe. But Penrose is stating that that dark energy then is the Big Bang of the next universe, or creates the Big Bang for the next universe but that process occurs in pure time, not in space time. So it's fundamental time that's before space time. So that's why the definition of gravity has to be changed as a quantum gravity to exist before classical gravity as space time. And this fundamental time is also what Penrose calls proto-consciousness. So it's in non-Western philosophy, it's called formless awareness, or direct perception. And when I was with Qigong master Jim Nance, he explained to me that he can see in four directions at the same time. And Yogananda describes this also having a 360 degree vision. And there was just a new interview with the cardiologist, Dr. Von Pimmel, I think is his name. He's Dutch. And he said how when people have near-death experiences, when they no longer have a heartbeat, they flatlined, and their brain is no longer functioning, then they also have 360 degree vision. So how do you explain this 360 degree vision in terms of the formless awareness or proto-consciousness of the universe as fundamental time from what would normally be called dark energy? And so another experience that is described in these near-death experiences is this being in the darkness as formless awareness, but yet having awareness as pure awareness with no perceptions, no vision or anything. But when they do have vision, then it's 360 degree vision. So if you look at these 360 degree cameras, essentially they are just extremely wide angle sphere type cameras. And like you can see this in biology, like the woodcock, the bird, the woodcock has its eyes basically far back on the side of its head, so it can see pretty much almost 360 degrees at the same time. And so we can begin to understand how 360 degree vision is possible in terms of the spatial orientation. But what's happening actually is that the point of origination is from time itself as fundamental time. And so that 360-degree vision also includes the future and the past overlapping in space-time. So when you experience 4D space-time, you can also experience the future and the past, because the formless awareness is from pure time. That's essentially like above the 4D space-time, and hence this direct perception can include not just the 360 degrees, but also the future and the past. And this is what the Dr. von Pimmel explains in his for the near-death experiences that he had published in a prestigious medical journal, because he spent like 10 years studying people who went beyond, who flatlined and had cardiac arrest and all that. So, in other words, on a quantum level, people experience this fundamental time that is the dark energy of the universe, and it exists after the collapse of the expansion of 4D space-time, and it's what exists to create another universe. And so it's also anti-gravity, because as dark energy, it's gravitationally repulsive. But it's due to this asymmetric time and frequency. And this is Roger Penrose's big point, is that time is highly asymmetric at the beginning of the universe, because the entropy keeps going down. The gravitational entropy goes down. So normally entropy is defined in terms of matter for mass, but in terms of pure gravity, the the negative entropy originates from pure time and frequency. So that's the key insight that Roger Penrose provides, and he admits that this is non-commutative time and frequency. So when we meditate, then we're tapping into that the universe as that exists before 4D space-time in relativity. And we're also tapping into the negative entropy that's a quantum negentropy. And also it explains why the commutative geometry that's the basis of relativity is actually increasing the gravitational entropy on Earth, because the more we try to produce technology from classical physics, we're actually trying to decrease the entropy of matter as defined for mass. But now we understand that all matter actually originates from photons, from light. And this is why the yoga masters describe reality being holographic and two-dimensional. And so how can you have this two-dimensional realities? Because it's the dimensions are not actually in space-time. The dimensions are time and frequency. So it's not a spatial dimension. And that's why this is possible to experience this 4D space-time is actually a two-dimensional holograph. It's technically like flat, but it's actually the future and the past overlapping. And so that's why it's like it can't even be imagined by classical physics, because everybody's been indoctrinated and brainwashed by the wrong mathematics as a philosophy of science based on the commutative geometry. And once you understand the non-commutative time and frequency, then that explains why we have ecological crisis on Earth that's destroying life and as biological annihilation, because the life is actually due to this quantum negentropy from the negative frequency and time reversed precognition as proto-consciousness as from fundamental time. And this is what Roger Penrose is focused on in this past couple talks that have been posted on YouTube, is that in like extreme sports or in music training, you actually resonate with this precognition directly, and that is the same precognition of the universe as fundamental time. That's what classical physics calls it dark energy, but as Penrose explains, it's actually this highly asymmetric time frequency that's also coherent, but it's due to the non-commutativity. So that's how this ties into the cosmology of Penrose's cosmology that he calls the palatial twister model. And I'll just leave it at that. Thanks.